Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second International Virtual TESOL Conference, Second Language Acquisition Advanced. In this second conference, we as presenter will present our study under the title Reliability of Expert Judgment to examine the validity of DEAWA, Dialogic Electronic Based Academic Writing Assessment Model. B. Nur Aisyah Zulkifli as the first author from State Islamic University Sultan Syarif Qasim Riau. The co-author Hermawati Syarif from Padang State University Indonesia and Yenir Zemila from Padang State University Indonesia. In this study, we expand the scope of literature by drawing attention to the role of dialogic electronic in academic writing assessment in context where lecturer feedback can be conducted online. This study developed under the assumption that assessment don't just measure. The assessment should provide students with useful feedback, and feedback should happen as soon as possible. Then, online tools can automate the delivery of feedback and facilitate human interaction around learning experience with all flexibility of a dialogue. So, what is the novelty of DEAWA model? The novelty is introduce the new assessment format and feedback to academic writing assessment in Indonesia context by utilizing a platforms by using the dialogic electronic. So this study contributes to the objective assessment by explicitly exploring how the analytic rubric as assessment criteria effort change for the student are involved in the process of scoring, interpreting, and achievement. To date, there are only a few empirical studies that have looked at how the rubric of academic writing transforms the experience of those who are engaged in the assessment. So by virtue of the result of student assessment, lecturers are not focused on particular assessment in their teaching. Yet, through digital assessment, lecturer perceptions and attitude toward assessment change as a result of undertaking DEAWA model. So DEAWA model have developed, but to develop a model that is feasible or not, of course, the level of validity must be tested. The study report the reliability of expert judgment to examine the validity of the DEAWA model development. So based on the literature review, some model integrated technology and feedback into the assessment is like GIS, the assessment and feedback programs, via the UK Web Achievement and Electronic Management of Assessment (EMA), and developing engagement with feedback toolkit. This is develop a feedback guide, a feedback portfolio, and feedback workshop. The free technology and feedback into assessment focus on e-portfolio. How about DEAWA model? DEAWA model focus on academic writing that focus on the student thesis proposal. So what is DEAWA model? DEAWA model is a model of blended assessment and feedback for learning to assess student writing with the lecturer's feedback orientation and sets of assessment produced embedded in electronic dialogue and auto scoring. So DEAWA model can be conducted online in the classroom or out of the classroom using the online. So the concept of dialogic electronic arose mainly from limitation identification from study of dialogic in higher education. Some scholars have proposed a specific terminology in their work focused on dialogic, such as dialogic feedback, such as dialogic teaching intervention, such as dialogic interplay, such as dialogic talk, dialogic inquiry, dialogic instruction, and dialogic teaching. So this study focus on dialogic electronic. So assessments is a frames of the student learning progress to monitor how student learns and what student achieve. Feedback is part of the interactive component of teaching and learning and can be seen as a central to pedagogy. Both student learning and student satisfaction are affected by assessment and feedback, the crucial elements of student experience. This is what the expert says about the integrated between assessment and feedback. How about the dialogic? The term dialogic refers to how meaning are created and understood in both written and spoken practice, whereas feedback as continuous dialogue with cyclic assessment process. It is never considered a single event. Feedback as critical assessment tool create a learning environment for developing and informing student judgment for future orientation and sustainable learning, and also for teacher effective teaching. This is what the expert says about the integration between assessment, dialogue, and feedback, and also dialogic. After developing a DEAWA model, so what is the principle of DEAWA models? The first one is presenting the suitability between learning and assessment model. The primary intention of this model is the first one, learning center and lectures directed. The third principle is developing higher order thinking skills and creative assessment in learning and teaching. Implementing a reliable, accurate, objective, and authentic assessment. And then the next principle is building on good practice by making feedback on student learning and more systematic, more flexible, and more effective. Through this model, it's hopefully encourage the student participation in feedback process for facilitate task completion to attending the expected outcome, considering associative, constructive, social, constructive, and situative of approach to the assessment. After conducting the DEAWA model, how is the component of DEAWA model? And then what is the characteristic of DEAWA model? DEAWA model consists of talk-in interaction, the writing task and feedback, and technology dialogue. When we implement it in the classroom, this is the activity like what you see in the screen. This is the activity in the DEAWA model. So what is talk in? The first one is talk interaction. What is talk in interaction? Talk interaction is lectures dialogue, creating student answer, co-construct the meaning within the academic writing assessment intention using dialogic feedback assessment to promote active learning. So what is the writing task and feedback? The writing task and feedback is the integrating of feedback, assessment task design, and the development of student capacities to make academic judgment by the maintenance of the dialogue and creating opportunities for students to express their need as learning reader and as a learner, a reader, and a writer. And the last one is assessment device and hand dialogue. This is the use of technology enhanced dialogue in writing assessment. In DEAWA model, we create the technology or the platform that we call AWCA, Academic Writing Checker. How about the method to develop or to find the reliability of the study? Actually, the data of the current study was extracted from the bigger study that employ a research and development design. And then research and development design and develop the effective product to improve quality of education with systematic research produced. Plum research design, in particular education design was selected as its iterative and cyclic nature of design. So why the Plum research design is choose? A rationale for adapting Plum model as underlying research paradigm contribute to the developing, testing, and disseminating a new assessment model that provide practical solution to improve academic writing assessment problem. So the 3 phase of Plum model is converted into 5 steps in this study. So the aim of the study report the reliability of expert judgment to examine the validity of DEAWA model development. This is the DEAWA model development procedure, we have the first phase, problem identification analysis. The second phase is design, development, implementation. The third phase is assessment. So this study focus on the validity of the model. So the validity of the model to examine the specification of the right product build by using the expert judgment, the expert of the assessment, the expert of the research NLT, the expert of curriculum, and the expert of ICT. So validity according to Plum in the study is semi-formative evaluation to examine the specification of the right product build. Validity was carried out by a 3 expert team that consists of 6 persons. The data were collected into 2 validation format, that is construct validation and content validation. The contract validity is the suitability of the model combined with the elements that have been determined in the development of the model. The content validity measures whether the model developed appropriate with the established assessment aspect. So to quantify the validity rating of each item into the coefficient V value, an approach proposed by the Aiken was used to measure the content validity coefficient and homogeneity reliability coefficient. On the other hand, the interclass correlation coefficient ICC was used as a reliability index in retest, intra-rater, and inter-rater reliability analysis. So to measure the level of validator coefficient in the product produced, ICC was tested using the SPSS. So what we validated, the product of their model to be validated, the first one is research instrument, the academic writing rubric, instructional plan, and then a model book of DEAWA, OCR platform, academic writing checker, a book of teaching research in ELT through the DEAWA model, a manual for writer of thesis proposal assessment using the OCR. Actually, there are 4 products to support the implementation of their model: the book, the model book, teacher book, student book, and the platform. The research instrument and academic writing and instructional plan is to support how to develop the DEAWA model. We come to the result and discussion. In this topic, we discuss about the expert data of validation. We have 3 persons of the expert that have different skills related to the product developed, and they also have different from different institutions. The first person is Prof. Dr. Fadil Azhar. The skill is language assessment and research in ELT. Dr. Rafnaldi. The skill is language assessment and research in ELT. Dr. Bukhari, research in ELT. Dr. Elin Harani as the skill is algorithm and programming. Dr. Damansyah is educational technology. And Abdul Hadi MA PhD. The skill is course design and curriculum development. So from the validation, it found that the research instrument is valid according to Aiken V with the score 0.765 and reliable according to the score of Kornberg Alpha with score 0.805. It support with the ICC score using the SPSS, that is 0.579. And how about the validity of academic writing rubric? The rubric is valid with the score 0.766, and rubric also reliable based on the score Kornberg Alpha with the score 0.863 and support with the result of ICC using SPSS has obtained the value of 0.677. The next product is instructional plan. Instructional plan is used to develop the procedure when we implemented the product in the classroom, when we implemented the model in the classroom. So the result of validation show that the instructional plan is valid with the score 0.677 0.791. Unreliable based on Cornbad alpha with point value 0.930, and supported with the result of ICC using SPSS has obtained a value of 0.727. How about the validity of a model book of DEAWA? The book is valid with the value 0.743. How about the reliability of the books? The book is reliable with value 0.839, and the ICC using SPS has obtained a value of 0.566. The platform also validated by 3 experts: expert of the ICT, expert of the algorithm, and expert of the language assessment or academic writing itself. The score of the result of validity of the platform, so 0.780. This platform is valid with ACNV value, and the result of the reliability, so value 0.886, supporting with the result of ICC using SPSS has obtained a value of 0.721. So which is good, which we can move on to interpret the level of reliability based on the report 95.7 confident interval of the estimate ICT, which is good. It is therefore conclude that the expert conclude on our platform is valid. The next product is validity of books of teaching research in ELT through DEAWA model. This book used by the teacher in implementing the model. So the results show that the validity of the book of teaching research in ELT DEAWA model from validator is valid with ACNV value of 0.752. The reliability of validity book of teaching research in ELT through DEAWA model, the SPSS process results show that the result Cornbad alpha is 0.923 higher than alpha value of 0.05, so that it can be presented that aspect of design, language, and element of the book has a high level reliability. The result of ICC using SPS has obtained a value of 0.705. It therefore concludes that expert conclusion of the lecture guide to DEAWA model implementation is valid when the validation of manual for writer of thesis proposal assessment using OCR. The validity of manual for writer of thesis proposal assessment using OCR from the validation is valid with ACNV value of 0.742. The SPS process results show that the resulting Cornbad alpha value is 0.845 greater than alpha value of 0.05, so that it can be presented that aspect of typography, visual art, page layout, cover design, and visual makeup of the book has high level reliability. It also supported by the result of ICC using SPSS has obtained a value of 0.522. And the conclusion is all products used and produced from this research are validated by several experts in their fields. Based on the result of reliability of expert judgment to examine the validity of their geologic electronic-based academic writing assessment model development, their model is declared valid because it has met the criteria of content and construct validity. Their model provides the principle of the depth and accuracy of the content. And the last one, expert judgment, include that the model can be implemented and take place through the assessment process. This is a conclusion of ACNV from the table. we have 7 product, and then this is the value of ICANV. The category is valid, and validation is of was on combat, and level ICC criteria is high level. Thank you very much for this presentation.